to be here today. I'm glad that we get to serve you as well. This is really kind of cool. You caught me in a really good time. I am coming right from the farmer's market right to here. And thank you, and happy birthday, by the way. And you didn't know, it's Nessa's birthday.
It's International Women's Day too, so it's a good day.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here because, so I find that it's really hard sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of the times, to motivate people, especially if they're in more of a standard American style of living and eating, to actually get them to connect to nutrition. But it's nice because you guys, or for the most part, the people that do belong here, already have that kind of mindset. Like, oh, I have this body, I need to take care of this body. And exercise is a huge component of a healthy lifestyle and maintaining your healthy body. You have one thing that you get to take with you from birth until death, and that is your body. So putting it into that perspective, it's legitimately the only thing that gets to go through you through your whole entire life. So embodying that and connecting to that is really important. And then honoring that. How do I take care of it in a proper way? How do I feed it in a proper way? How do I love it in a proper way? How do I get it to sleep? It's really like a pet. That is just, better trained. So hopefully. So a little bit about me. I started my medical career when I was pretty young. My brother actually had leukemia when he was a child. So I was kind of raised in the medical system. And then my mother went into nursing, and my father became a paramedic, maybe not in that order. And then I followed suit. I went right into EMS. The second I was old enough to, I went and got my nursing aid certificate, and then I went into nursing, and I worked in emergency medicine for a really long time. And then I started having kids, and our second was diagnosed with autism pretty early, like age 3, very mild. You wouldn't know. She's here today. I won't tell you who, though. But when that happened, literally we were driving out of the doctor's appointment, and God picked me up out of the Western medicine world and just plopped me into the holistic realm, which was amazing because all of a sudden I started to get to learn lifestyle medicine and functional medicine and all of these more symbiotic approaches to your body and the way that your body interacts with the world around you. And really, when you look at it, the basics of it is that all health starts at the cellular level. You can go to a cardiologist, you can go to a pulmonologist, you can go to an endocrinologist. That's great. But those are talking about organ systems. And what happens here is really, if you start at the cell, cells clump together and they form tissues. And tissues clump together and they form organs, and organs come together and they form organ systems. So if you backtrace it, taking care of yourself and looking at your body from a cellular level is really the way to optimize your health, as opposed to kind of making it segregated and going, into the realms of different organ systems. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. How do you fuel your fitness through cellular health and looking at it that way? Okay, optimizing nutrition for peak performance. Here are today's objectives. We are going to basically reframe everything that you think you know about health in a really big way. I hope that you are all really excited because this is going to be a big class, especially if you have never been introduced to this level of information before. It's enlightening, for sure. So first we're going to talk about the your gut performance connection, why your gut is directly related to your performance and what that actually means, understanding how your digestive system impacts athletic performance and overall health. Removing toxic foods, we're going to talk about maybe not what you actually think in terms of toxic foods, because it can kind of get very segmented again, like, oh, lectin's this, and oh, this, like you can get really kind of pigeonholed. We're going to be talking an overview and kind of a generality of this. But it's going to be very crystal clear, and I have a nice handout that you can utilize when you leave here to keep these strategies and implement these strategies when you go shopping at the grocery store. We're going to be talking about some gentle meal prep strategies, probably stuff that you guys already know. It's just more about switching your mindset and looking at things from a different lens. Pre- and post-workout nutrition and some high-energy living suggestions for the end of it. So I would like to introduce you to your beautiful gut. As a functional nutrition coach, I don't care what you come to me with. You can have diabetes, you can have heart disease, you can have autism, you can have anxiety and depression. The very first thing that we will do, no matter what, 100% of the time, is start at your gut. It is the basis for all human health, and I will tell you why right now. It actually starts in your nasal passage. Did you know that? And it runs all the way down to your rectum. It's not just centrally located. So yeah, that's like different to think about. Like your gut actually starts in your nose. But if you think about it, it does, because it's one continuous tube that runs all the way down. There are no stop points except for cool little sphincters, which is the neatest word ever. It's the largest surface area in your body. If you laid it out on a cellular level, it would take up the surface area of about 2 tennis courts, which is like a lot. That's huge, right? Like all compact into this like beautifully, weirdly looking thing. It is so thin. It is so thin. And this is why I just get blown away by the human body, because you'll see a slide shortly, but it is only about 50 microns thin, which is if you take a strand of your hair out, your hair, not mine, and you cut it in half, that's how thin this lining is. And 100% of the time, I always think about like eating a pretzel and you don't chew it properly all the way, and how does that go through your system and not like rip it all to shreds? I don't understand, but that's the marvel and the divinity in how the human body was created, which is like, okay, thanks, I appreciate that. It is the home to your microbiome. Who here has heard of the word microbiome before? Okay, thank God, some of you, yes. Your microbiome is this term for all of the bacteria, viruses, protozoa, like all of the things that live inside your body that are microorganisms other than your DNA, other than human DNA. You actually have more microbial DNA that lives inside your body and on your body than you do human DNA. So really, you're more microbes than you are a human, if you want to think about it that way. Which is important because you need to, it's kind of gross, I know. Actually, has anybody seen The Nightmare Before Christmas? Oh, yeah. That like weird guy that falls apart and all the bugs come out? Like that's what I think about when I say that. The boogeyman, yeah, right, thank you. Basically, that's what you look like. Their job, these microbes, their job is to keep you healthy. They live inside of you, they live on top of you, they live all over the place, and their only job is to keep you healthy. They make your vitamins, they digest your food, they do all of it. And you have, centrally located in your gut, about 5 to 7 pounds, depending on your size, of microbes that live in your gut. So it is densely located inside your gut, okay? This is also the innervation point between your gut-brain axis, your vagus nerve. This is the seed. This is the physiological component of intuition. This is the communication pathway between those microbes and your brain. So this is a really important connection point between your central nervous system, peripheral nervous system, and your gut, because they all completely talk to each other. And probably the coolest part about this system is that it's the only system that comes in contact with the inside world and the outside world on a daily, moment-to-moment basis. It's the place where cellular exchange of life happens. What you eat, what you drink, and what you breathe becomes part of who you are on a cellular level, and that exchange happens inside your gut. So, like, that's really awesome. Your gut is the engine, period. So really the fuel that you put into it is crucial. If you had a Ferrari, you would not put dirt inside the gas engine and expect it to run smoothly. Your gut is the same thing. So really what you put into it determines everything about yourself. Did you know that over 70% of your immune system is located in your gut? That's a huge number. 70 to 80% of your immune system lives in your gut and has a direct communication with what you eat. No lie. 90 to 95% of your serotonin is produced in your gut. That's huge. This is why when somebody comes to me with anxiety and depression, we start with gut health, because it's made in your gut. Same with dopamine. Over 50% of your dopamine is made in your gut. So this is why it's a reframe on health because Western medicine doesn't take it through this lens, but this is really the lens of human beings. This is what everybody should be looking at, and it is kind of slowly going in that direction, but this is like crucial. Is this not surprising or shocking? Like, oh my gosh, this should be empowering because this is huge information. Your gut bacteria directly impacts your energy because of this, and because if your gut is not functioning properly, you're not going to have the energy that you think or that you want to have. It affects muscle recovery and inflammation. Inflammation, is at the root of all chronic disease, of all disease. Inflammation, disease, they go hand in hand. All diseases are traced back to inflammation. And then you can trace inflammation back to the gut. So it's not easily reversible because it takes some time, but things are definitely greatly reversible. Disruption factors. So what goes wrong? We eat GMOs. Does anybody know what a GMO is? Because you will in about a minute. GMOs, processed foods, things with glyphosate on them, which are GMOs and processed foods. They completely disrupt and murder your microbiome. You want to think about these gut bugs as really part of you and you eating to keep them healthy. It's like you're stewards of these guys, and the healthier they are, the healthier you are. It's a beautiful symbiotic relationship. And if your gut bacteria aren't thriving, then you're not absorbing the nutrients that you're supposed to be at all. When you eat kale, you're eating kale, and the gut bugs are digesting the kale and releasing and making the vitamins based on how well they function. And if you're eating a highly processed food diet, or you're not eating clean ingredients, you're going to have problems because they are not present in a lot of cases. So GMOs. They are genetically modified organisms. GMOs are plants, and they actually genetically modify animals too, but that's a lecture for another day. GMOs are plants modified to resist pests or herbicides. So we're going to talk about two types of genetic modification. We're going to be talking about Roundup Ready for a second, and then Bt toxin. So Roundup Ready crops, everybody knows what Roundup is, right? It's this horrible thing that we spray on everywhere on all of our crops. It's an herbicide. It's a water-soluble herbicide, which means that the second it rains, it gets washed away into our water systems. It's the reason why we have the biggest dead zone ever at the end of the Mississippi River and nothing can grow or live there is because of this, because the agricultural farms that are along the Mississippi banks that use that water, all of the glyphosate that they're using is getting poured back into the Mississippi and getting shipped down into the Gulf of America, I guess we call it now. So, these crops are genetically modified to be able to withstand insane amounts of glyphosate being sprayed on them so that the farmers don't have to weed, which is like, that's great, but here's how they found out that glyphosate does what glyphosate does. It used to be used as an industrial strength pipe cleaner in factories, and they were seeing at the end of like the pipes that all of the vegetation was dead, and then somebody was like, oh, let's spray this on the crops and then feed it to the people, and then we won't have to weed. And somebody else said, that's a great idea. And then they went along with it, and then here we are today. So it's also, fun fact, patented as an antibiotic, which I said that your microbiome is microbacterial, and you need that for your health. So if you're eating food that is sprayed with an antibiotic, and you are consistently eating that food, you are consistently imbalancing your gut. If you have somebody in here, or if you or somebody you know has got autoimmune issues, diabetes, heart disease, like all of the United States chronic illnesses, this is a massive contributing factor, a massive contributing factor. Glyphosate disrupts protein synthesis. We're sitting in a gym. I'm sure protein is very big to a lot of people in this room. I will explain to you why you are not getting the protein that you think you're getting, because glyphosate does what glyphosate does to the plants, which is where all protein comes from on Earth, period. So we'll get to that in a second. Also, It breaks down the structural lining of your beautiful gut within 30 minutes of ingestion. The definition of disease is a deviation in the structural or functional part of an organism. So either there's something wrong with the structure or there's something wrong with the function, and that gives you a disease. That is the definition by the World Health Organization. So within 30 minutes, you have structural breakdown. So this is 30 minutes in, and you're already eating towards disease. You have two options. You can either eat to give life, or you can eat to feed disease. It kills the soil and it kills soil, and it kills your gut bacteria. The soil outside is Earth's microbiome, and it supports our microbiome. Earth's soil is supposed to breed really healthy plants that we then eat to be broken down by our microbiome, and it is a symbiotic relationship. But it kills the soil, it kills the bugs in the soil, and it kills the bugs in your gut. Broken system. Then Bt toxin. This is wild. You can go to Agway and buy Bt toxin and spray it on your food, and it kills your insects, right? But what they thought that they would do is they genetically modify it into the crop. So cotton, corn, soy have Bt toxin injected inside the genome of the crop, meaning when you eat it, actually what it does to the bugs is when a bug eats it, it goes into their system and it blows holes in their intestinal tract, and then the bug dies. And it releases pheromones, and it tells all their bug friends, don't eat this crap, it's gonna kill you. And that's how it works, and it's an insecticide. So they put it into the crops. So now you eat it, and it's blowing holes inside your intestine, but it's not killing you because you're much bigger than a insect, right? A lot of hats just walked in. Okay. No, I don't care, I wear hats all the time. Okay, so Bt toxin blows holes inside your intestine, which is really wild. So now we have glyphosate-soaked crops that are killing your microbiome, structural, and then we have insecticides that you're eating that then blow holes inside your intestine. So we have a really big problem. Has anybody heard of leaky gut? Yeah? Do you see why maybe we have leaky gut now that I explained to you the mechanism of action of glyphosate? So what I'm going to show you, you are what you eat. And you cannot build a healthy body if you're feeding it toxic food. It is literally impossible. It's impossible. So this is what the inside of this is a cross-section of the inside of your gut looks like. Up here is where the food would pass. This is the one single cell epithelial lining that I told you about. That's 50 microns thin, like as thin as a half of slice of your hair. And underneath it is your bloodstream. This is where your immune system lives. Your microbiome, all the gut bacteria is all over this, protecting the heck out of this, keeping it healthy. So food passes through here, and it stays in here, in your digestive tract, right? Because food's not supposed to be in your bloodstream. That's for blood and other aspects of blood. So the food moves through here, the bacteria grab it, do what they need to do to it. They'll pass vitamins and stuff through. These beautiful things are called tight junctions. This is what really gets disrupted with American wheat, which is a lecture for maybe another month. So this is a healthy one. Things that are in the bloodstream are staying in the bloodstream. Things that are in the gut are staying in the gut. This is I would think at this point in time, pretty standard American gut, especially if you are suffering with a chronic disease. This is most definitely what is going on inside of you. So you have food that you eat, you have glyphosate-filled food, or the Bt toxin, or all of the other types of pesticides that we put onto our food, and the wheat and water and all of the other aspects of the very toxic society that we have these days. And it breaks down the structural and functional components of your gut, which then allow things into your bloodstream, which is a problem because your immune system lives in your bloodstream. So if your immune system gets alerted, it's like, oh, what are you? And it calls their army buddies over, and they either kick the crap out of you and kill you, or they let you go on your merry way because you're fine, or it's like a virus or something, and now you are sick for a little while, and Your immune system learns what the virus is, and now you have antibodies for that. The problem is that when you are continually eating this type of food, you are continually bombarding your immune system, and then your immune system gets overworked and overrun, and it doesn't have the resources, it doesn't have the stamina, it doesn't have the energy to support constantly being bombarded with assailants, so it goes like haywire. And it starts seeing things that are coming down here like gluten and like glyphosate and all of these things that we're talking about. And your immune system's like, oh gosh, you kind of look a little fuzzy because like by this time your immune system is exhausted and it can't recognize things. And it's like, oh, you kind of look familiar, but really like you're the thyroid, and it starts attacking the thyroid because your immune system is completely confused at this point and it can't keep up with this type of insult. Autoimmune conditions, this is a huge underlying factor. Huge underlying factor. So, your GMOs, what do they look like? Here are the top 12 GMOs on the market in the United States today. I will happily release this slideshow to you, I guess, but you can totally take a picture of this. I want to point out a few things here. One, 90% of the sugar on 95% of the sugar in America, if it says sugar, it is from sugar beets. Okay, so you don't want anything that just says sugar. If you are going to buy sugar, you should use something like a coconut sugar or a maple syrup or a cane sugar. Cane sugar, fine. Beet sugar, not fine. So if it just says sugar, stay away from it. Soybeans, corn, cotton, canola, alfalfa is what they feed to animals. Okay, I mean, they feed it to us too, but you also have to kind of take it in the vein of what they're feeding to animals as well. Because if you are what you eat and you're eating an animal, the animal is then what the animal eats. So if the animal is eating sick, improperly raised food, you have a sick, improperly raised animal, and then you are eating it expecting to get life and vitality out of it when really you're eating something that's part of a broken system, so it's a bad idea. Soybeans, so your oils as well. If you're gonna do tofu or edamame or something like that, just make sure it's organic. We'll talk about that in a minute. Corn, your tortillas, your tortilla chips, your burritos, things like that. Again, just buy organic, solves the problem. We'll talk about it in a minute. Cotton, this is one of my favorite ones to talk about, especially when I have women present, because one of the biggest pet peeves of my entire life, something that I get absolutely furious with, well, everybody in this room knows a woman because everybody has got a mother, sisters, friends, or you are a female. If you are using Tampax, Playtex, any sort of conventionally raised feminine hygiene products, please switch to organic today. And if you are a male sitting in this room and you love a woman, please make sure that you tell her immediately, because all of these things, the glyphosate, all of it, are soaked, and cotton is one of the Bt toxin GMO crops. So you need to tell her to switch to organic because they want to pump everybody full of HPV vaccines and things like that. Like, let's just stop putting bleach and genetically modified products inside your vagina. That would probably kind of cut a lot of problems out right there, okay? That's my stance on that. Canola, again, these are really crappy oils. Alfalfa is definitely what they feed to animals. If you're buying sprouts in the grocery store, first of all, bravo. Second of all, generally they're not genetically modified because they're from like a local farm and they know better. Papaya, potatoes, apples. Potatoes and apples are genetically modified because we're prissy in the United States and we don't like things to brown. And pink pineapple, like what the heck is that? Pineapple's not pink. So, the addition to this is there's this amazing group that is a nonprofit. It's called the Environmental Working Group. And every single year, for the first 4 months of the year, they research all of the major crops in the United States, and they test them all, and they see which ones are the worst and which ones are the cleanest. So I just gave you the top 12. They're called the Dirty Dozen. So you want to be aware of these as well. So you have 12 genetically modified crops, and you have 12, you can hand that out now if you want, and you have 12 on the Dirty Dozen list. There is a Clean 15 list here, but I'm not focusing, or there is a Clean 15 list, but I don't really care about it. I just want you to know about the toxic crap, so you stay away from it. The other thing is that with the GMO list, You need to make sure that this isn't just in the produce, because these things are ubiquitous with processed food. So if you're eating things in the middle of the grocery store, you want to make sure that they're clean and they're not conventionally raised, because then you are getting all of this crap in your boxed foods, whatever it is, cereals or granola bars, whatever. This is the 2024 Dirty Dozen list because they produce the new list in April of every year. So I have not received that yet. When I do receive it, it'll be up there. It's about the same every year. Like blueberries was new on the list this year. But generally the things that are on there. Cherries are always on there. Kale's always on there. Strawberries are always on there. So just be aware of that. I made this so that you can fold it up right now and stick it in your wallet. And when you go to the grocery store, it's there with your money. You don't have to find an app. I never have service in the grocery store, so it's there and it's a printout and you can have it for the rest of your life and, keep saving your life. And I love you. You're welcome. I had a person today come up to me and say something about how expensive it can be to go holistic. And I said, it's way more expensive to die early of a chronic disease and have to suffer with that. You are here on planet Earth because you have talents and gifts and you have a purpose. Whether or not you're in touch with that, I promise you that is why you are here. So understanding that it is your job to walk that out and to do it in the best way that you possibly can does not involve having and suffering with a chronic disease, because that keeps you down and weighed down in a lower state of being. You don't want to be there. You want to serve your purpose. This is right off of their website. It's 209 pesticides, and this is just off the Dirty Dozen list. Okay? So, a total of 100 pesticides detected in kale, collard green, mustard greens, hot peppers, and bell peppers. That's insane. You can't wash that off. It's in there. It's what it is. It's part of its makeup. 50 different pesticides were detected on every type of crop on the list except for cherries. I don't know if cherries were worse or better. Did you see that?
No, they weren't as bad.
They weren't as bad. The list is in order of severity, basically. So strawberries, worse, bad, very bad. Oh, no, this is great. So who in here really pays attention to their protein? Right, yeah, you're in a gym. That makes sense. Let me tell you what else glyphosate does. All protein comes from plants. It's where it's made. So if you're eating an animal to get protein, just understand that the animal ate a plant and that's where the animal got its protein from. Somewhere in the food chain, that's how it happened. If you're eating meat, a protein is like this brick wall right here, and each one of those blocks is called an amino acid. So you need amino acids in order to build up to make a protein. So if you're eating meat, your body actually has to break down that protein in order to get to the amino acids. So you have 20 amino acids, 22 amino acids that you need to make proteins, 9 of which you have to get from your food. The rest your body can make, okay? They come from plants. These 9 you have to get from eating protein, plants. That's what I'm gonna say. Glyphosate blocks the pathway in which those amino acids are produced. It's called the shikimate pathway in a plant. It's what produces these essential amino acids. So glyphosate blocks it. So the plant doesn't even contain the protein, the complete protein that is necessary to make complete protein structure. So everybody that's obsessed with getting clean, good protein in is missing the boat if they're eating conventionally raised food, because the protein synthesis is not happening in a complete fashion if you're eating plants or if you're eating an animal that is eating a plant that is involved with glyphosate. Wicked. Isn't this wicked? I told you this was a big class. So it blocks the pathway. They're nutrient deficient. If plants can't synthesize amino acids, our food is deficient, thanks. And so are we. That's it, right? Effects on performance impact. Effects on performance include reduced muscle protein synthesis, increased gut inflammation, and a weakened immune system. Destroying the gut on a cellular level. Processed foods and sugars. This is all genetically modified food. All of it. Anything in the middle of the grocery store, set aside from a few things, you have to pay attention to. Seed oils are absolutely toxic. Please don't use them. If you're going to use oils, which are beautiful, please use an avocado oil. Please use a cold-pressed coconut oil. Please use a olive oil. Did I say that? Olive, avocado, coconut. Okay. Refined wheat is so bad, it's not even funny. It's nutritionally dead, it's chemically altered, and right before it's picked, they spray it with glyphosate to dry it. So the glyphosate goes and gets sucked into the plant, and then they make it into flour, and then you eat it as pizza. And then you keep eating it and eating it and eating it. So it's literally like soaked with glyphosate right before you eat it.
This is why everyone goes to Italy and they.
Right, so if you're gonna buy pasta or anything like that in the grocery store, please make sure that number one, it's organic. Two, it comes from Italy. Like Aldi sells pasta from Italy, Stop and Shop, like they all sell pasta from Italy now, and a lot of them actually have like a glyphosate-free stamp on them if you look. So that's important. So what's the solution? Everything on that list, all your GMOs and your dirty dozen, you just wanna buy organic. And this is what I was gonna say about the woman who said something to me about it being expensive to go holistic. Oh, I did. I said it's really expensive to have a chronic disease and it's not worth your time and energy. So please reframe that in your brain. You are a beautiful human being and you totally deserve to eat clean, non-toxic food. Like that's basic. Like that's a real thing. That is what you deserve. And if you're looking at it dollar for dollar, if you don't have a problem spending $7 on like a drink at Starbucks or a brand new iPhone, whatever, you can afford and you can put your money, a couple extra dollars towards organic, clean food. Because if you're looking at it pound for pound, it's not much more. I'm gonna spend the extra dollar or two because hell no do I want this crap in my body. Hell no. That's like a hard no, hard no. Okay. Right? Because this is what we're dealing with. Clean fuel versus a toxic load. Your body is the fishbowl. You are the beautiful divine being inside the fishbowl looking through your body, right? You need a clean environment inside to do that. If you have a muddy watered, toxic, full, pharmaceutical, all of the thing environment, you're going to have a hard time connecting with really the essence of who you are because the water's really muddy. You're not gonna be able to get in there. So we gotta clean the muddy water. How do we do that? Detox pathways. This is a really big conversation. I just actually taught a whole entire lecture on this. So all I'm gonna say is this. You have a toxic load inside your body because it's 2025 and you're living here on planet Earth. It's a fact. Your body does a really good job of trying to get those toxins out of your body, but it needs to have open pathways to do that. Your poop is one of those pathways. It's like the main pathway, your colon. You poop all the waste out. That's what you do. That's what that is. So your colon has to be clear. You should be pooping, honestly, you should be pooping every time you eat. I don't know many people who do that. You should definitely be pooping once a day. Otherwise, you have toxins that are sitting in your body getting reabsorbed in your colon, which is then also leading to chronic disease, low energy, all of those things, which all of this directly affects your fitness performance. It affects your recovery time, it affects your stamina, it affects all of it. Really simple ways to open up your pathway is to increase your fiber, take some magnesium. Things like chia and flax and hemp seeds are awesome for getting your colon moving and for grabbing toxins and pulling them out. Your liver and your kidneys are the second one. They process and remove waste in their ways. Your liver does such beautiful things inside of itself. It's like the most amazing organ. It's just absolutely insane the amount of things that your liver does for you. But a really good way to help support that is to have some lemon water with some good sea salt in it. Does anybody, who uses sea salt in here? Like a good one? Never in your water. Right, but what kind of water do you have inside your body? It's salty water. It's what they give you when you go to the hospital. And it's what gets the water inside your cells, because water follows salt. So if you don't have salt involved in the process, you're just kind of peeing it out all the time. You need the salt to get pulled into the cell, and then the water, it opens up the channel, and then the water can actually get into the cell and form a crystalline structure, because it's not like you have a bunch of cells inside your body and they have this water sloshing around. It's like in this beautiful crystalline form that needs minerals in order to get there. Plus, everything in your body runs on minerals. Who had the chocolate blend in the back? There was seaweed in there, 3 different types of seaweed in there, and there was algae in there because of the mineral content, because our soils are dead. They're dead. They have no minerals. So as humans, they are your spark plugs in your body. Things don't fire if you don't have minerals, so you gotta get them in. That's why I put them in the blend. Sweat and breath. Did you know that your breath is one of your detox pathways? Taking a deep breath and letting it out. Exhale. When you exhale, you're exchanging gases there. One is a waste. And your sweat. Get into a sauna. They have one here, right? Is it working, your sauna? Yeah, good. Yeah, everybody should get into the sauna, because that's an amazing detox aid. And your lymphatic system, if you're exercising here, you're doing a great job at that. Your lymphatic system runs just like your circulatory system through your body, except it has no heart to pump it. So it requires your muscles to pump all of the lymph, which carries waste from all of your body to your kidneys and to your liver and to your colon to then be filtered out. So you need to move that. So, the truth about protein and muscle growth. More protein does not equal more muscle. Your cellular efficiency matters. It doesn't matter how much you're putting into the engine. If the engine can't process it properly because the engine is bogged down with a bunch of toxins, it doesn't matter. It can't assimilate them. So again, clean out the engine, clean out the internal environment, and then your body can assimilate these things the way that they're supposed to. Your general protein needs, I don't know about like weightlifting and stuff like that, because that's like a whole, they're like serious. But yeah, it's not much. I mean, human breast milk, a human grows more in the first 2 years of life than at any point in their life. And human breast milk's got like 5% protein in it. It's not a lot of protein. Rat's breast milk actually has more protein in it. It's like 9% if you ever cared about that. It's about the bioavailability. How available are the amino acids for your body to actually integrate is what matters. So if you're in a sick, inflamed state and you're eating a ton of conventionally raised meats to get your protein, your body's not going to be able to do anything with that, because it has to break down this whole brick wall to get to the amino acids, but the amino acids aren't even really there because of the shikimate pathway problem. And now you have all these other issues because you got glyphosate and blah. Do you see like the compounding factor here? And you don't want to go overboard with that stuff, because if your kidneys and your liver are already strained, you don't want to, eat a crap load. But again, like I've never heard of anybody dying of a protein overdose either. Or a deficiency. That's the bigger one. Have you ever heard of anybody having a protein deficiency? No. Because everything is made up of some sort of protein. We're all walking proteins. So it's like this weird, protein is like this weird highlighted thing for some reason. I mean, it's important, don't get me wrong, but here are some of the best protein sources that you can get for muscle and cellular health. Again, because it's about bioavailability. How available are these things for your body? How much energy does your body have to take, either to break down a steak to get to those amino acids, or to just digest hemp seeds or spirulina? If you're going to do animal-based proteins, please because I promise you, I do love you. Make sure that they are pasture-raised chickens. Make sure that it is grass-fed, grass-finished meat. Make sure that it is wild-caught fish. Nothing farm-raised, nothing that is, you know, in the butcher at your grocery store that's like, you know, that, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Just, it has to be clean animal products. Clean animal products. Because your body has to exert a lot more energy to break down animal products than it does simple plant proteins. And you don't want to gunk it up with all of these other things that it then has to filter out. And we haven't even talked about like the hormone disruption level of these things either, which I won't talk about now, but that's a big problem too. You have complete plant proteins. Not many, but you have them. Hemp, quinoa, spirulina, which is also in that blend back there, and sprouts. Some sprouts are complete proteins. When I went to school for lifestyle medicine, I studied at the Hippocrates Health Institute, and what they do is they will take a very sick person, MS stage 4 cancer, and they will reverse it using 3 things. They will reverse it with sprouts, which are living baby plants, algae, and seaweeds. They're the 3 most nutritionally dense foods on planet Earth. So the premise is to detox the body, open up the pathways, get the cells turned on, and then flood the body with all of these really dense nutrients. Because if you are fueling the body knows how to heal. And the body won't be able to stay in a diseased state if you're fueling the body properly, and if the body has the ability to access and assimilate the nutrients, okay? Some high-value plant proteins. I said chia. Who's had chia seed pudding in here? Yes, you guys rock. If you don't know what chia seed pudding is, find a recipe on YouTube and make yourself some chia seed pudding. Chia seeds and flax seeds are soluble fibers. They turn into like a gel when you soak them. That is like crack for your microbiome. They love it. They love it. They love it. And this stuff also makes you very regular, which is good because you want to be moving your bowels. So chia, flax, lentils, chickpeas, black beans, these are great. Hemp seeds are a complete protein. They are high in omega-3s. They are super anti-inflammatory. Super anti-inflammatory, which is important because inflammation is the underlying factor for all disease. So, good thing to have in your diet. Chia and flax, like I said, really great fiber, really great protein, better digestion, better muscle recovery, because when you're feeding yourself things that are super bioavailable, guess what? Your body can recover faster because it's not spending so much time in your systems like your immune system and trying to deal with that. Everything that your body does requires energy. So if if the energy is being siphoned to kind of like plug up a horrible hole, it can't do things like muscle recovery after you work out. So this is important. Sprouts and microgreens, like I said, they are 40 to 50, some of them are 70 times more nutritionally dense than the mature plant. So if I hand you a baby microgreen made out of, that's a broccoli sprout, a broccoli microgreen, that is 50 times more nutritionally dense than a full head of broccoli. Think of it like plant stem cells, okay? They get diluted as they grow. So the nutrients get diluted as they grow into the full plant. So if you eat a whole salad full of like broccoli sprouts and arugula sprouts and basil sprouts and all of the microgreens and all of these really cool kind of things that cost pennies and you can grow them on your countertop, you're really taking a punch in terms of nutrition, which you would not normally get. It's absolutely miraculous. Like, this is the solution for world hunger. This is the solution for chronic disease reversal because of its inexpense. You can do it anywhere, and its nutritional density is like nothing compares to it. There's literally nothing that compares to it. Optimizing. So rice and beans, they're eaten together because they create a complete protein. Quinoa and rice, same thing. Chickpeas and tahini, hummus, complete protein. Peanut butter and sprouted bread, complete protein. Spirulina and Microgreens, better absorption of the two, and they then make a complete protein. Nuts, seeds, legumes. You have to soak before you eat them, okay? Like, have you ever seen somebody soaking beans before, right? That's because they have an enzyme inhibitor on the outside of them that if you don't soak them, you get really bad gas and indigestion. It's really hard to digest these things. It's a built-in insecticide, basically, in the plant that's God-made, not man-made. And all you have to do to get rid of that is to soak the seed. And the seed releases that, and actually the seed starts to grow. So when you soak the seed in water, you are bringing it online. So now all of a sudden, the divine genetic code that's inside the seed knows how to grow. Out of thin air, it makes all of these vitamins and minerals that weren't necessarily present in the seed, and then it's germinated, and out of nowhere comes all of these minerals and vitamins. It really is like the most divine thing on planet Earth. And then it has all of this coding in it to grow into the plant that it needs to grow into. Like, think about it. How does an oak tree, like an acorn, that small little thing, where's the intelligence in that then grows into an oak tree? Like, it's absolutely wild. Anyways, my point is that you need to have properly prepared food, right? That's what the whole kind of overarching lesson here is. You don't want toxic food. You want clean, properly prepared food. The wheat that you're getting at the grocery store is not soaked or sprouted. It's not. So therefore, you're going to have problems right there off the bat. You're not going to have the nutritional availability that you would in a soaked Ezekiel bread, for example. Okay, batch cooking. It is a little bit of work. I totally understand. But again, you are a really beautiful creature, and you really do deserve the best quality stuff. So love yourself. This is self-care. Self-care is really crucial to human health. So pre-cook your proteins. I'm a mother of 4. I own 2 businesses. I am here. I teach all over the place. Like, I am a very busy person. Batch cooking is really crucial to being able to keep up with the momentum of life. I also have a 14-year-old who cooks, so that's very also helpful, so thank you. But make sure that it's organic, grass-fed meats and wild-caught fish. They actually have to dye the fish if it's farm-raised because it doesn't look that color. It's like a gray, gross color, so just so you know. Make your bases in bulk. So your quinoa, your rice, your sweet potatoes. We always have big Tupperware of them in the fridge. And yes, I use Tupperware occasionally. I said I'm a mother of 4, so it's very busy. Pre-soak and sprout. Again, I highly suggest everybody comes to the microgreen class at the end of the month because we will be teaching you how to do this stuff on your countertop. It is pennies a day. You can make pounds of food on your countertop, 4 pennies a day. So I have constantly, I'm soaking seeds, sprouting seeds, growing seeds. I have a little grow area with some cute little lights, and that's it. And it's just a cycle. And I have that in my house, and it's clean food, and it's really nutrient dense, and I'm in control of that. But it's where the future needs to go because the big agricultural, pharmaceutical, government kind of domineering matrix that they have going on isn't going away anytime soon. And yes, I really do pray that RFK can continue to highlight this stuff for the public. I hope that he can actually do something about it because this is what he's talking about. Just so you guys know, this isn't like a political thing, but this is what he's talking about. And it is very real. Mastering batch cooking ensures cellular health and performance because you're preparing high quality proteins and nutrient dense foods. And then your body can absorb them efficiently. So highly recommends one of the easiest things that you can do in order to get quality nutrients into your body is to make a good green smoothie. You can take it even farther and do a green juice, but you can get a lot into a smoothie. You can blend spirulina, chia, flax, hemp, some greens, some microgreens. Like, The nutritional density in what I just said here is insane. By the way, spirulina is what they send the astronauts off into space with to make sure that they are getting all of the nutrition that they need. You can actually live on raw spirulina and water. It has everything in it. It's a complete protein in it to sustain life. So if you're adding that into your diet, watch out, because it's a really powerful, powerful superfood. Energy bites, these are amazing. I make them all the time. You can do anything, anything. Chia, cacao. Cacao is raw chocolate. It is not cocoa. Cocoa is chocolate that has been processed. Cacao is what, again, if you had the chocolate drink, that's what you drank. But it's full of antioxidants. It's full of minerals. It's really super good for you. And these, you can make 100 of them and freeze them and take 5 and be on the go, and they're dope. It's like great fast food. Ferments. These are another super, super, super food because your gut, just like the sourdough, your gut loves fermented food. It's actually pre-digested, and it's this beautiful fiber plus the bacteria that you're introducing into your body. When you eat something like a fermented food, or when you take something like a probiotic, it's not actually repopulating your gut bacteria, just so everybody's aware. It works on your gut to support your gut bacteria as it works through your body, okay? They can stay around in your body for up to like 2 weeks, but they do pass through. Sauerkraut, kimchi, miso. Again, sauerkraut, so easy to make. Like stupid easy to make. Cabbage, water, or cabbage, salt, that's it, done. Hydration, you need water and you need air, and then eventually you need food. So hydration is like super crucial. You are mostly hydration, you are mostly water. Again, not in like a sloshy form, it's crystalline and it's structured, but it is what you are. And in order to keep it inside of you, you need minerals. So in the morning, start your day with electrolyte-rich water, high in mineral salt, like we talked about before, and some lemon. The lemon actually helps charge the minerals. So you heard the term electrolyte. Did you know that electrolytes are minerals? No, that is what electrolytes are. They are charged minerals. All electrolytes are minerals. Not all minerals are electrolytes. Remember back in like chemistry when you had the Na plus or the Ca2 plus, whatever, like those are ions, those are electrolytes, those are charged minerals. You can have something like copper or iron that are minerals that your body needs. They're not electrolytes because they're in full form, they're not charged. So the lemon and the lime helps to charge the minerals. So that's why that's important, a lemon water. Herbal teas, really great for digestive and metabolic support. And just hydration. I hate drinking water. I hate it. I hate it. You will 100% find 4 cups of tea around my house every single day of the week, or I'm drinking green juice. That's how I get my fluids in. So herbal teas are huge for me. And plus, that's how much I hate water. I took my time and made those blends because I wanted to get them in and I wanted to get fluids in, but I needed to make the fluids taste good because I don't know how you guys just drink water. That's like, you're badass. That's amazing. And then workout hydration is really, really crucially important because you're sweating out all of these electrolytes. So where do you get really good electrolytes? Coconut water. That's God's Gatorade. A good coconut water, just like coconut, and that's it. Like it shouldn't have like 50,000 other ingredients because then that's crap. Watermelon juice, awesome. Has anybody ever heard of shilajit? Oh, it's a really great fulvic acid. It's like from ancient soils and it's really super mineral dense. So again, if you can find yourself a good shilajit, because everything has got crappy options. So please make sure you're sourcing it properly. Again, I can say, check out the fountain because she's got a really great, like all of this stuff. We speak the same language. So it's like, if you want this stuff, it's literally right around the corner. Before workout, healthy carbs, if you want. Bananas, they have a lower glycemic load, so they don't kick you with sugar as much as, some other things will. Sprouted toast, again, some quinoa, like overnight oats, except quinoa, because oats, not so great for your blood sugar first thing in the morning. They have a more sustained energy release. And if you pair them with something like an avocado, it'll go even slower through your system, which is great. Proteins, sprouted seeds, hemp protein, pasture-raised eggs, things like that. Fats, like we talked about. Oh, ghee, tallow, those are other really great fats too. Oils, coconut oil, ghee, MCT oil, a medium chain triglyceride. You can get these at anywhere. You can get them anywhere. Whole Foods, anywhere. We kind of talked about this. You need a balance inside your body in order to be able to break down protein. You want to focus on complete proteins and bioavailable proteins. Energy matters. So you need the energy inside your system in order to break down the protein. Things like CoQ10, creatine, magnesium, NAD+ are great supplements if you want to take a picture that will help increase your ATP. Does everybody remember the mitochondria from school? Where your ATP is produced, this is your energy factory of your body. And again, this is in the cell. This is why cellular health and a functioning mitochondria is really of the utmost importance. So CoQ10, magnesium, creatine, NAD+ really do support ATP production. And digestion. Gut health is key. So if you're not pooping on a regular basis, you're not in a healthy state. You may not be symptomatic yet, but I promise you that is the case. So you want to get your gut moving now, like you want it, not like right now, but like at the end of class, but like, hold on. Things that will help with that, like I said, chia seed and flax are beautiful for this. They're really beautiful. You can get a really great probiotic. You can take digestive enzymes. There are other superfoods too. I will give you my website at the end of this. And on it, I have a supplement formulary that I use called Full Script. If you've ever worked with a holistic practitioner, this is probably the formulary that you use because it's the only trusted one amongst holistic practitioners. You can set your own account up in there and then get any of that stuff, and then you know that it's coming from a good source that, you know, this is what my doctors prescribed me through. So this is like top of the line. Please don't buy your supplements and stuff at like GNC or Stop and Shop because they are garbage. I promise you, it is not what you want. You want whole food, good quality supplements, again, because you are a beautiful human being and you damn well deserve it. Post-workout recovery. Spirulina smoothie again, because it's like magic, and this is why it's so easy. Like once you finally start seeing it, it's like, oh, okay, that's I can just take this, and I don't need this supplement, or I don't need this powder, or I don't need this thing, or I don't need this thing. It's like just these really awesome, already here foods are all I need. Hemp, banana, coconut, greens, water, coconut water, again, because there's like huge electrolytes. Eggs and sweet potatoes, great. Chia seed pudding, great. This is what chia seed pudding looks like, by the way. It's like a tapioca kind of consistency. Like maybe mix it with some quinoa or mix it with a little bit of oats. That's fine. We use coconut milk with ours and maple syrup, maybe some vanilla. Like do it up. It's really good. It's really good. Do use creatine, cellular energy and recovery. Do use adaptogens like in those blends back there. Ashwagandha, functional mushrooms, they are huge for supporting your immune system and your nervous system and overall cellular health. Again, if you're giving your body the ingredients, it knows how to heal and it knows how to operate. So give it the ingredients and watch what your body will do for you. Magnesium helps with muscle relaxation and sleep. Your seaweeds and your algae, huge cellular detox. And deep mineral replacement, probiotics and enzymes, digestive enzymes, meaning it's something that you can take before you eat that will help your body break down food. Because a lot of people don't have a high stomach acid. Like if you have indigestion, for example, you actually don't have a high stomach acid. You have a very low stomach acid. Again, a topic for another day, but you can take digestive enzymes to help your body with the process because raw foods are really what we started out eating, and those have enzymes present in them, right? Everything that is alive on earth has enzymes because it's the enzymes that will bring it into dust when it dies. But when you cook food, it doesn't have those enzymes in it anymore. So your body has to produce all of these enzymes, which it will, but it's supposed to work synergistically and in balance. So you can actually take digestive enzymes with your food to help your food break down in your body so you're not taxing your body so much. You got a question? Avoid synthetic protein powders and fillers. If you look at a lot of the protein powders, their ingredients list is like 50,000 ingredients long, and most of them are lab made. Your body does a semi-decent job with identifying lab-made stuff, but again, you're a natural being. You are indivisible from nature. You should be taking natural food grade stuff. So your protein powders, if you're taking them, should be a food grade organic blend, because a lot of these things are made with soy powder, right? Or whey, but the animal was eating genetically modified food. So you have to look at the whole food chain when you're talking about this stuff and when you're thinking about implementing them into your life. I have a great plant-based company that I work with, if anybody wants to know what that's all about. But they have great stuff for athletes. Actually, a friend of mine who also uses their products is coaching one of the NFL football, that's who his client is. They have the whole team on it. It's amazing. GMO, make sure you're not using GMO protein powders, plant-based or animal-based, because again, it's about removing the constant assaults. If you go to a restaurant and you eat dinner, you're going to be getting genetically modified food. You have no way of avoiding it. So it's about controlling your environment and understanding that life is just gonna be life. And it's like, in my household, it's an 80-20 rule. 100% of the things inside my household are going to be non-organic, clean ingredients. If I get my kids Easter candy, it's going to be a clean Easter candy, which I swear to God, they have all over the place now. Because I know that when we go out, I have no control over it, and I have to be okay with that. So that's kind of my point with that. Pre-workout drinks with artificial sweeteners and colors, stay away, because you might get a kick, but it's like the same as caffeine, or same as like a Dunkin' Donuts coffee. You're doing a lot of degradation on the back end that is then hurting your performance, especially if you're here to work out and be a fit athlete. You can't if you're feeding your body toxic food. You can to a level, but could you imagine how much more you could be if then you were fueling your body properly? You could be like Christ and walk on water, basically, is what I'm telling you right now. So maybe that was a little bit overstretched, but still, you get my point. And then this. Your cells are energy. Everything under a microscope is energetic. Everything, right? You zoom in and it's just really nothing but a bunch of empty space. Thinking about the quality of your food this way is really helpful. This is a very dense food. This is a very I'll give it to you, delicious, but your performance is going to be sluggish after something like this, where you have high vibrational foods like produce in the store and stuff like that is way better. And then you have the highest, which is foods that are still living at the time that you eat them. So talking about it from an energetic level, you're giving yourself calories here, which your body has to then break down and figure out, and it's a lot of work on your body. This is easier. That's the easiest, because your body doesn't have to use any energy to digest sprouts. They come with the energy alive in and of themselves because they are living when you eat them. If I cut a flower outside and bring it in here, it's going to be dead soon, right? But if I leave it outside, it stays alive as long as it's attached to earth. If I then take that and eat it really quick, maybe a flower wasn't the best example, but if I take that and eat it real quick, that energy is now going into me. See, that's a beautiful thing, right? Water, raw foods, green sprouts, they're all super high vibrational. So, how do we embody this? Small shifts equal a big impact. I gave you guys a lot today. Removing GMOs is number one. That is number one first step across the board. This is what I teach everybody. It doesn't matter. It's what I do in my step one of my program, or if you come to work with me as a client, that is what we are going to be doing, and we're going to be getting them out of your house completely. Seed oils, processed foods, and sugars. Again, they're all related to GMOs. I have 4 children. I send them to school with granola bars. I send them to school with Rice Krispie treats occasionally. These are all organic. They are all organic ingredients. We didn't get there overnight. It took a while. And I'll tell you right now, we started this journey when we were on food stamps. Going to the, what was it called? Food pantry? Going to the food pantry in the United Way for food with my 4 children, and this is how I got taught this when we stepped into that. So this lifestyle is completely livable. You just have to be present with it and kind of walk through that slowly and just be guided. And once you open your soul up to a new path and a new direction, if you give yourself over to the process, you will be guided. You will. But you have to start at step 1. You take a step, and then the universe takes a step. And then you take another step, and then the universe shows you the next step. It is how Earth works. Choose organic meats and produce to reduce toxins. Please take your things and use them at the grocery store. If you didn't get a thing, then Nez has some. It's also her birthday if you walked in late. Yeah, see, right? Add spirulina, hemp, chia, and sprouting to your daily nutrition. You will be flying. You will be so connected as a human being, it's not even funny. Because if you are giving yourself living food full of energy, your body is like singing because your frequency is just so high. We don't experience this in America for so many reasons, including all of the EMFs and the 5G and all of that stuff. It dampens us down. So if you combat that with this, you'll be living in a whole entire different dimension. And maybe I'm talking a little silly right now, but I promise you that's the truth. Incorporate meditation, gratitude, breath work, heart coherence to connect to your mind, body, and spirit. All of these things are necessary. You are not just your pulmonary system. You are not just your cardiac system. You are a beautiful, symbiotic, harmonic organism. And lifestyle has got a whole lot of other pillars other than just exercise and nutrition. So if you want to be a fully online human, all of these other aspects are required. Structured mineralized water, we talked about that. Grounding, sunlight. That's huge. You get so much from the sun, yeah. Meditation, gratitude. These things put you into a better, happier, more uplifted, no cortisol, no stress. And it's not a matter of like having to say some chant. It's really just a matter of just sitting and being with yourself. That's it. Just you and your beautiful soul and your heartbeat. And that's all that's required. And it shuts off your sympathetic nervous system, which we're all in all the time if you live in America in 2025. And it kicks you into your parasympathetic, which is your heal, rest, and digest nervous system. Otherwise, you're in sympathetic, fight or flight. You're not doing any healing and any restoration. So you do want to have calm, quiet moments in your life where you can kind of just sink back in. Acupuncture is great for that. Sophia down in Brookfield takes like all kinds of insurance, by the way. Living water, we talked about that. Grounding, outside barefoot, not with rubber sole shoes on because that definitely disconnects you from the ground. This is why in ancient days they used to wear they didn't have this kind of rubber, so never mind, but they did a lot better in terms of grounding because they were barefoot on the earth. So sun exposure actually activates cellular energy. These things all work together. Sorry about my spacing over there. Intentional movement, strengthen, mind-body connection, exercise. This is what this is talking about. Intentional movement, strengthen your neural pathways in your brain. This is amazing. It increases your body awareness and proprioception, like where you are in space. This is important. And it supports emotional release and energy flow. Has anybody ever worked out and started crying before or gotten really teary? Yeah, I bet a lot of women have because they're good for that. Emotions are energy in motion. That's what it is, like that's what the word comes from in Latin. Energy in motion. Energy is a real thing. You really do have a flow of energy through you. It's real, okay? So when you feel an emotion and you shut it down and you don't let your body actually feel it, Physiologically, those are neurotransmitters that are trying to get released through the fascia inside your body. And if you won't let them run through and run their course because maybe you are slightly embarrassed to cry in public, or you were a child and you didn't want to shed your tears, that energy, emotion, energy, and motion gets stuck and locked inside places inside your body in the fascia, and then eventually it sinks into organs. So when you're exercising and you do a hip stretch or something like that, because you store a lot in your hips, and you release emotion randomly, like you just start crying for no reason, that's why. It's because you hit an old wound from a really long time ago that your body is now able to process, because now you are tapped in, tuned in, turned on, and you can actually feel these things and let your body process them. Like, it's wild. Isn't that amazing? Like, we are insane beings. Like, this is like, seriously? Or, and you can head over to the beautiful the fountain, which Emily happens to be here today, which is awesome. And she was here last month giving the talk on that. But what that is, so you're this beautiful being, right, that has this energy flow through you and around you, and we're all the same thing, and we're all colliding with each other, and it's all amazing, and it all has to do with light, and it all starts at the cellular level, really like the quantum level, which is behind the cellular level. It's the nothingness, it's the space. And then it filters into the physical, into the cells, and then it grows from there. Well, when you have distortions in your energy field and you have dis-ease in your cell, and your energy is not flowing the way that it should be, you can just go to the fountain and sit in this awesome vortex of light that is created by all these screens and all these light waves like this. And when you get into there, your body then syncs up to that field. It's the same premise with Christ, if you happen to be a believer. That's what he did. That's how he healed people, is that he embodied this frequency, and when you came into his presence, you are now healed. Okay, energy enhancement. It restores energy fields at the cellular level. The higher you can get your cellular energy, the less dense energies can sit inside your cells, right? So our cells have a millivoltage that is healthy. If you start to dip down, you get disease. You run into disease, you run into cancers. Like hospice patients have a millivoltage of like 10 to 15. A healthy cell is like 80 to 90. This is measurable. So disease starts around 70, cancer is around 40. This is how poor the energy is at the cellular level. So if you can sync up to a field that's got a healthy energy level, those denser lower bottom frequencies have to drop off. That's how it works. So people that go to these facilities have chronic illnesses that are, this is a very great healing tool to add into it, not to mention what would happen if you're more of a healthy person, you're going in there for muscle recovery from working out. It would speed up that process like crazy. Mitochondrial function, again, you want these guys to be working, increased mitochondrial activity for faster muscle repair. And it accelerates fitness results through an integrated approach. Nutrition, training, recovery, mindset, lifestyle. Remember, true fitness is a journey of continuous improvement and self-discovery. Embrace the process and enjoy the transformation. Start small, 1 shift a week. Do that. Notice energy improvements within the first week. And then you have 30, if you make 1 shift today and you do that, 7, and now you've done 30 at a month, like that's amazing. You will feel a difference, especially if you kick something like GMOs out of your diet. I had not a patient, she's a student of mine. And she's in her 60s, postmenopausal, and she kicked GMOs out of her diet and dropped back down to her high school weight. Yeah. And so like everybody's bio-individual, that was her experience, but that is the power of this, like no lie. Your body and I both thank you. So here's my website. So on my website, if you go to the bottom of the page, there is a link for full script. If you want to check out the supplements on there, it's pretty much wide open. And you are your greatest healer. Keep learning, keep growing, and remember, your health is your greatest rescue mission. It is, yeah. Your health is your greatest rescue mission. So go for it. Okay, any questions? Wow, okay.